Our next presenter is Stewart Rodeheaver, Brigadier General retired. During Stewart's distinguished military career, he was awarded the Legion of Merit Medal 5 times, the Bronze Star with V device, the Meritorious Medal 5 times, and the Army Commendation Medal 7 times. But his career following 38 years of service is why he joins us today. Please join me in both thanking Stewart for those 38 years, but in welcoming him to this stage as well. Stewart Rodeheaver.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, I very much appreciate you letting me be here today. I love working with Rotarians for a couple of reasons. One is, you know how to serve and get things done. But secondly, is there anybody here from Tucker, the Tucker Rotary Club? My daughter is Lauren Allen, who's in your club, and my granddaughter is Emma, who comes to your club every Thursday. And she has told me she's an honorary Rotarian, and when she comes to see me, she brings me that milk carton and says, "Papa, we got to fill this up." And I fill it up every time I see her, so appreciate the service, really do. I did serve in the Army for 38 years, so I always like to ask. I came up through 3rd Armor, 3rd Infantry Division, 18th Airborne Corps, and finally 1st Army. So is there anybody here that served with me? Would you raise your hand, please? Okay, I don't see any hands. It's always good to know who's in the audience because nothing messes up a good war story like an eyewitness. And so I want to make sure you know who's here, who I'm talking to. So I had a lot of different places I served, a lot of different things I did. In 2004, 5, and 6, I commanded all U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq. I commanded some of the forces in Afghanistan, and I commanded North Africa. And I had groups from all over that were coming to me to work with us. And I'm a good South Georgia boy. I've got a little bit of an accent. We had people there from all over the United States. Of course, the Army units were from all over the United States. We had National Guard units there from Puerto Rico, who we had a little bit of trouble understanding. We had National Guard units there from Louisiana, who nobody understood. And we had groups from other countries. And we had a group from Britain that was a bomb disposal unit, but it was led by a command sergeant major. Now, in America, you salute, you put your heels together, you salute, say, "Yes, sir," and you go do your job. In Britain, they stomp their feet, and they salute backwards, and then they yell. So we had our first meeting in Iraq, and I brought all the leaders together, and I started telling them, I said, "This is what we're going to do. Are there any questions?" They all said, "No, sir," and they filed out, except for that sergeant major. And he came up, stomped his feet, saluted, and said, "Sir, I think we're going to have trouble working with you." And I said, "What's the problem, Sergeant Major?" He said, "You talk funny, and I can't understand you." My little redneck hair stood up, and I said, "Sergeant Major, you talk funny, and I can't understand you." He bristled up. He said, "Sir, I'll have you know, we speak the Queen's English in my outfit." I said, "Which Queen?" He said, "Queen Elizabeth." I said, "Well, we speak the King's English in my outfit." He said, "Which king?" I said, "Elvis Presley." True story, true story. After that, he said, "Okay, I got you, boss. We're all on the same sheet." We had no trouble working together, and we became good, lifelong friends. But during those rotations, we had so many people coming to us, and we're trying to give them a new piece of technology every 3rd day. And this is not like a new laptop. I mean, one day you come, you're assigned to me, and we hand you a new shoulder-fired rocket missile. 3 days later, I get a new shoulder-fired rocket missile. So I say, "Put that one down, take this one up, and let's get ready to go fight with it." And it just keeps going like that. And the ones of you, I see the ones of you who've been in the military laughing, but that's exactly the way it happened. So we had all this equipment flowing to these soldiers who could not understand it fast enough to put it into battle. So we started having people getting hurt with equipment, not being able to use it. So I wrote a letter to the Joint Chiefs, and I said, "Hey, you need to train these guys better before you send them to me." They said, "You're a general, you figure it out." And as they would do. So we started trying to figure it out, and that is what started our work into technology, augmented reality, mixed reality, and some of the things I'm going to show you today. I retired in 2010, was going to fish, moved back to Middle Georgia, lived on Lake St. Clair. I was going to fish, but in 30 days I had all the fish I can stand, and I was bored. And the Army called and said, we really like what you were doing for us, but we don't want to do it. Will you do it for us inside the Army? So we started developing programs for the Army in the virtual reality, mixed reality fields, and we greatly increased the effectiveness, lost casualty rate, all those things were really, really good in growing programs inside the military. So about 7 years ago, we stepped out. We got so many requests from soldiers, wives or husbands who were teachers. And they said, you know, hey, you took a tank apart in a classroom today in 3D. I'm a biology teacher. What can you do for me? So several years ago, we hired a bunch of firms, a bunch of teachers, and we started building programs for schools. And what I'm going to show you today is how the education world is changing and how Rotarians affect that, because I know that's one of your big programs that you work on as far as the things that you back. So I know some of you still have flip phones or close to flip phones, and those of you who do need to step up into the technology world. I can't do much for you to help you. Excuse me a minute. But how many teachers, school teachers, former school teachers I got out here? Okay, you'll understand something. We're trying to teach young children phonetics, how to do their words, how to do their letters, and how to recognize things. So we have come up with a program that we developed. Let's see if this is still. Is it up on the stage yet? Let's see. Yep. Okay. So we can take a normal piece of paper. This is a piece of paper with a picture of a lion on it that you may or may not be able to see yet. And we taught the computer, when I look at this piece of paper with my computer, it will go find all the parts and build that image for me. So if I look at that lion with my tablet, it will go build that lion for me. Now, one of the things that we've also done is, because we're trying to innovate, is we've made it interactive. So if I touch him, he'll roar at me. Now, when you're trying to teach children phonetics and things like this, if you teach them like this and they can look at a book and an elephant will stand up, walk around a page and trumpet, they understand exactly what an elephant is. The next time you say elephant, you don't have to explain it to them again. So they grab onto it. So we do a lot of work in that way. We do a lot of work in the medical field. So if I look at this heart, it'll go out and find all the parts for the heart. And when I pick that up, I'm going to show you it's a 360-degree heart. I can turn it all the way around. We can see the front, the back, or whatever. But now we can also dissect it on the screen. And when I do, you can go down inside and see the tricuspid valves down inside the heart. And this is all off of a piece of paper. If you take this piece of paper and you Xerox it, if you copy it black and white, you give it to 1,000 of your friends, you can do the exact same thing I'm doing now. And I have packets for you. If you want one of these packets before you leave, you'll be the coolest mom or grandmom around, because you can put this down to your phone and it's free. You just download the app and then you can look at the pictures and you'll be able to do all this. And we have hundreds and hundreds of other pictures that we've done in here like this. I'll see if I can show you. This one was always fun. We've got a picture of a skull. On this one, we made little pictures and we give them to the students and say, okay, teacher, take that picture of the skull and put it on your forehead. And then they would look at this and we'd say, okay, kids, all right, let's take your teacher's head apart. So we started dragging and dropping, taking apart the teacher's head. The kids get real interested. And, you know, I've never had them yet ask me how to put the teacher's head back together. So we put a button there that says reset so we can do that. But I want to show you, these are examples, and again, there's many more examples in here. There's a car engine, there's a rocket engine in here. There's if any of you are chemistry, there's a full periodic table in here that's fully functional. When you look at it, it'll pop up out of your phone. You can pick the elements, you can move them around, you can actually move the protons, neutrons around. A lot of things like that you can do with these. But this is a program that we do and give to schools because this gets them into that next field, the field of technology. Let me show you some of the things that we're doing with this. I'm gonna walk away from this just a minute. I want to show you my buddy over here that I brought with me. Can you see the man over here, or the body of the man over here on this? This is actually a mouse pad that we made. It's just a rubber mouse pad, but it's a fully functional cadaver. So we can take that same tablet or a pair of glasses that does the same thing. And now we can lay that body out on a table. You can look at that body. The body will come up out of the table. You can take the skin off, the muscles off, the bones apart. You can operate on the heart. You can look at every nerve cell. You can operate down to cellular level on ocular. I mean, you can do anything you want to for a cadaver on a rubber mat now, instead of having to have cadavers, refrigeration, chemicals, all those kind of things. So in the University of Kentucky Medical School, we just replaced all their cadavers with virtual people. In the University of Illinois Medical School, we're in the process of doing the same thing for them, and we're working with several others, including Mercer Medical here in Georgia, and many, many others. So a lot of things are coming about with being able to use this kind of a program. But it's growing in schools so quickly that we are running hard as we can just to keep up, because it is going to change the way schools work. Think about if you had a science textbook that you could flip through the book, and when the teacher said, okay, look at the picture on page 5 with your phone, you could look at it, and instead of having to wonder what that cell looks like on because you're seeing a 2D picture, it pops up in that 3D picture, and you can see it, and you can manipulate it, you can take it apart, how much faster you'll absorb material. Now, the other thing that we've done that I want to make sure you realize is you saw that line pop up over there without having to wear any special glasses whatsoever. You didn't have to wear big old 3D glasses. We've done away with those. You didn't have to wear anything special. Everything's done between the phone and the piece of paper, and we can make things better and better and better. So expect textbooks to go away, to be replaced with visual books. Expect teachers to become coaches. Expect a lot of those things to change as we go through this. One of the things I'll also show you, I'm going to see if I can do this from here. Let's see if I can get me. All right, now, that's off my business card. So people don't throw away my business card. But I'm going to show you something just as a secret here. I want you to see it's a real good weight reduction program, because I only filmed the front half of me. But here's the trick. We figured out how to do that by mistake. But now that we can do that, I can take you, scan you, I can take that image and send it anywhere in the world you want to and project it life size, and you can give your speech tomorrow. I could give this speech today right here from my office in Edenton without having to be here. We can do that right now. It's a growing trend. It's a growing thing that's happening. How many of you have children that play Little League sports, or grandchildren that play Little League sports? How many of you bought team pictures and all that in the past? Okay. What did you do with your team pictures? They're in a drawer somewhere. They may be on the refrigerator, things like that. By next year, you will be able to buy team pictures so that when you look at it with your phone, your son, grandson, or granddaughter will be able to stand up and tell you what they did. Or stand up and tell you, let me show you my swing, or let me show you how to throw a curveball or a fastball. That's coming. It's going to change very quickly. We're doing it for a lot of companies, a lot of organizations, and a lot of academic places right now. A couple other things I just wanted to cover with you is that it's not just the education that is growing. It's growing very fast in companies. We just recently got a contract with Mercedes. We build Mercedes' engines in virtual reality, and their new factory workers practice on putting them together in virtual reality before they go into the factory and work on them. We do work for Lockheed Aircraft. We do a lot of work for Gulfstream Aviation. And we're actually getting ready to do some work now for the National Flight Academy, which is here in Pensacola, that works with the Air Force here. Because when they go out to a school to talk to them about what's going on, if you go talk to them about a museum, it's pretty boring. But if you go out there and turn on a machine and we can put airplanes in the air in the museum, in the classroom that can fly over your head, it gets pretty exciting pretty quickly. So we're doing that for the National Flight Academy here. So more and more and more, this kind of technology is going to change things in schools and change things in businesses. I don't know how many of you heard the announcement yesterday. Ford is going to quit making cars. Ford is going to, they're going to keep making the Mustang, and they're going to make one crossover vehicle, but everything else they're going to make is either an SUV or a pickup truck. They're getting rid of the Taurus and all those things starting next year. Ford came to us 2 years ago with a plan to do that, And they gave us their pickup truck to build in virtual reality before they sent it to the factory to see if they could build it. We were able to build it, project it into a room. You can walk around it, you can open the doors, you can do everything you want to it to see how it works, but when I push a button, it disappears and goes away. And then from that, they were able to make some engineering changes, send it to their factory, and greatly reduce the cost of what they do. A lot of work that we've done with Georgia Tech, we've done the same thing in the robotics industry with them and several other places doing those kind of things. So virtual reality and augmented reality are programs you're going to start hearing more and more about. But what I'm here to tell you about really today is this last little bit. You know, there's a lot of changes that have gone on in everybody's lives. All of us, you change as you get older, you change as things happen, but there's a few things that change in your life that are so significant that I consider them to be inflection points. You know, when the Berlin Wall came down, that was an inflection point in history. When the laptop computer came out, the personal computer, that was an inflection point in history. Virtual reality being made was a change. It's just a program that made that's going on. But virtual reality's kind of hit a stopping block right now. They don't know what to do with it, so we're trying to figure out what to do with it. And over the last 30 days to 60 days, we've reached a real breakthrough that I think in the next 2 years is going to make a change. Remember the picture I put up there of me doing that? Okay. What we've done now is we figured out that we can scan those people. So we've hired historical actors. We filmed Benjamin Franklin. We filmed George Washington. We're in the process of filming more and more and more. So in a history classroom in the near future, the teacher is going to be able to push a button, put Benjamin Franklin on the floor there, and he will talk to the students about what he was doing while the Declaration of Independence was being written. Now, he was eating his way across Europe, is what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He wasn't there. He was out eating, trying to build support for the colonies. But to hear him tell that story is one thing. But here's the inflection point that's getting ready to change. So far, everything we've done is we create an image that stands there and it puts out a message. But in the past 90 days, we figured out a way to take Siri or another program like you were talking about, somebody was talking about earlier about having a Siri phone and the person talking back to you. We can now put a voice recognition chip into our program that has the person and give it keywords so that when I put a virtual George Washington right there and he talks to you about Valley Forge, you can ask him questions and he will answer you. We're going to have that in classrooms starting next fall. So I want you to know the world is changing. A lot of it is changing because Rotary helps teachers accept change. A lot of times when I go to schools, one of the biggest problems I have is teachers say, we're afraid of the new technology, we don't know what to do with it. But through the business relations and the relations they've got in the community, and then by just talking to people at Rotary and other places, they come back and say, okay, I think I can do this. Work with me, and we work with them to help them get over that little bit of fear and move on down the road. So the message I'll leave you with today is that life is changing. It's going to change tremendously in the next 2 years. There's going to be an inflection point that's going to hit like a tsunami wave in education. And believe it or not, you may not see it every day in what you do, but Rotarians are leading the way. And I very much appreciate what you do. Thank you very much. Thank you.